How does it look? All good?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to In the Trench podcast with Bryan and Nara Wiggins. We are both entrepreneurs. We're the nucleus family, and we do everything outside of the box. I'd say mostly everything. We homeschool a child. We've been entrepreneurs since we've been married. You're an immigrant. I'm a Marine, and this is awesome. So we decided, we figured this was the best time to get this podcast off the ground and get going. We've been wanting to do this for a very long time, and here we are. It's awesome. Super excited. I think that we live in a blessed country where we can even do this, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I was just talking to you that this is how we kind of started our journey. And when we first met, we were actually pretty much into missionary work and loving God and going through our own spiritual journey. And I met you through you're doing live streams on Facebook, talking about God and going to all these events. And we were for a while in the beginning of our journey, we were very outspoken, actually, before social media was even what it is today. And I am excited to get back here and share with people our experiences. And our hope with this podcast, guys, is just to encourage you to seek truth, encourage you to be open-minded, encourage you to start your business, leave a legacy for your family, build strong marriages, raise amazing children, and have fun.
Yeah, I mean, and I want to touch on something here in a second, but well, first of all, in this episode, we're going to talk about Charlie Kirk. We're going to talk about a little bit of the systems, the government systems, just pretty much the programming, right, of everything that we've lived our life outside of. I think this is going to be a powerful podcast. I'm super excited to talk about it. But I do remember making videos. I was I just got out of the Marine Corps and a few other things. And I was living with my sister at the time in Nashville. That's when you met me. And I was just in her room and in the room of the house, just making videos. This is what God put on my heart. And I didn't shave my beard. I was a little bit on the rough side.
Yeah,
and for sure. I'm going to tell you, you probably don't even know this. Maybe you do, that it was nerve-wracking making those videos. I felt like, in that whole transition from the Marine Corps to a civilian life was very hard for me. And I just remember I need to turn. That was the most transformational time of my life with God. I did a 40-day fast. God was telling me to do stuff that was making me so uncomfortable. And I just remember God being like, "You're going to get on this microphone. You're going to teach the revelations I'm giving you." I didn't feel like I had any place to be teaching people revelations. And believe it or not, I had a following. I mean, you were one of my followers.
And that's how we met. Like God made sure you did all of that so that you could also meet me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing about you, Bryan, that is really incredible is that you are very obedient to God.
Yeah.
You don't
almost
fight God.
Retarded. We talked about that yesterday.
Almost too much.
Yeah.
It's so funny. But you, like, when God tells you something, you just do it. You don't think. You don't question. You just do it. And that's what you were doing during that season. And that's part of what we're doing right now.
And I mean, In the Trench podcast, In the Trench is what it's all about, right? God calls us to be in the trench. You can't do anything. You can't do anything of significance until you get into the trench.
Yeah. So the term of being in the trench, and the reason why we even picked this name for this podcast is because people don't understand that you have to get in the trench to get out of it. There's no skipping steps. To become a better person, you got to go down before you go up, like a root. So if you think about the root of a tree, you have to create the roots before you can grow and flourish and bear fruit. And there's no way of skipping that. And our hope is that we, through our stories, through our lives, we're showing you that there's so much value in being in the trench, like Jesus was, like so many people who have been successful in their lives have been. Is just doing the hard work, is not going away from it and allowing yourself to become a brand new person, to overcome challenges and to grow.
Yeah, this is a fact. So I'm going to change gears a little bit here because I'm going to ask you something that I just thought about on the way over here. I was thinking about all the people that have been against Charlie Kirk right now. Like,
yeah. Okay.
I was thinking about that. And I was thinking, in no way, shape, or form, if me and you found out someone died and they were doing work like Charlie was, that me and you, no matter what their political views, would be happy about that.
No, what I was telling you that is that what is so sad right now, but also so biblical, right, is that people are losing sense of humanity. I think everything that is going on, social media, AI, how people are being completely brainwashed, there's so much division. All that does is separate us from the human touch, from having friends, being community, being around family members, understanding the power of life. And when you're isolated in your home and all you do is be on the internet and you're trolling people and you are now what is called an introvert, like everybody's an introvert and you don't want to be around anybody, in general, obviously adding on this brainwashing that a lot of these people are receiving, you have total disregard for life. You just don't see life, humanity as something important. Like we've seen today, like people can be walking down the street. If they see something, somebody get punched in the face, you just keep walking like another day. Nothing has happened, as we have seen with Irene on the bus, which was ridiculous. That shows you where humanity is, which is really sad. It's really
You're talking
crazy
about
to me.
the girl that got stabbed on the train?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think that's where the reaction is coming from. It's evil. I think it comes from an evil place and it's heartbreaking, but it's not surprising because people are no longer valuing the things that they should value in society.
But my question, I hear you, I really do. But why is that one-sided? Why is the conservatives and the people that are Christians, why, even in today's day where there's AI and everything, why do we still care about someone's life? And why is the left don't?
Because I think, and it's not all of conservatives, but I think a lot of conservatives are on the side of good, are on the side of God.
Yeah.
And then I think it's a battle between evil and goodness, the devil and God. It really is. And it has become so clear to us night and day that the left is on the side of evil. And I think, you find a lot of Christians, a lot of people who value God on the conservative side. Not all of them are that, and not all of them are perfect. But so that's why we can view life the way that they do. It's evil. I think like Charlie Kirk really affected us. I think we can start talking about how we've been planning already on doing this podcast. For some reason, every week, something was going on and we couldn't record it. And I find it very interesting that after what happened with Charlie Kirk, me and you got a fire inside of us. And we felt like now it's absolutely the time.
100%.
And yeah.
So I'm going to go back to what I was talking about. I got this feeling about parenting that, like Charlie Kirk, what he was doing was he was going around and he was telling people the truth and he was fathering them. And I thought about parenting. So if we looked at the flip side, let's say the complete opposite side of Charlie Kirk, right? He stood for illegal, making abortions illegal. He stood for the nucleus family. He stood for conservative values. He stood for capitalism. If we just take all the things he stood for and that he was around educating people on that, and me and you can agree with that with Evelyn, our daughter. Mm-hmm. We've been teaching her those same values. Mm-hmm. Now let's flip it. Let's name this person Sam. Sam's going around teaching people abortion's okay. Mm-hmm. That nucleus family, if you feel like you're a girl, right? But you're a guy, you can transition. And the nucleus family, completely going against that. Man with man, women with women. Why is it so poisonous to teach that to your children versus what Charlie Kirk was doing? Think about it.
Yeah, what is your perspective?
But isn't that the opposite though of Charlie Kirk? So let's say right now we're with a couple and they're raising their kids. What would be the product of a family that's teaching those kids those values versus a family like ours that's teaching their children these values?
Okay, I think a product of that, it would be a child that is confused, a child that is entitled, lazy, a child that is very much unhappy. As we can see, generation is filled with people.
And how do they feel about their parents? Do they love their parents and honor them?
No, I think that's absolutely not. There's a disconnection for sure.
I almost would beg to say that they hate their parents.
Yeah. Well, they hate themselves.
They hate themselves.
And their parents hate themselves. And I think, I'm going to quickly go into this today. We had a guy coming here, amazing kid. Help us set up for this podcast, okay? The guy is 19 years old. He has multiple business.
Dude, go back a little bit. Like, before you say his age, right? Like, Now,
already did.
yeah, you already did. I'm like, go ahead. This is awesome.
Okay. So he's 19 years old, has multiple businesses. Really good guy, like great character, great presentation. You can tell he's great Christian. Talking to us, we're like, dude, we didn't even know he was 19 when we were talking this. We're like, you gonna get married? Are you married? He's like, no, I plan on getting married in about a year. And then when he told us he's 19, I mean, great kid. And then I was like, I was so impressed with him. I can't even understand how impressed I was with this guy.
I mean, he pulled up with a Lamborghini.
First of all,
a $300,000 Lamborghini.
It's super humble too. The most humble guy you ever, like, so sweet.
It's unreal. But hold on, what kind of parents what kind of values do you think he has?
So there you go. That's what I was saying. And we were asking him, it's like, why are you like this? And the first thing he said, well, let me tell you, I have really good parents. He's like, my parents
He lifted his parents up through the roof.
The first thing he did was lift up his parents. He said, my parents are amazing. They always encourage me. They always are on my side. They put me in a private Christian school. I attended a private Christian school my whole life. And I was always focused and being busy with the things that his school was doing, which kept me away from the other things. And I was like, oh, it's something that me and you, Bryan, we talk all the time. And I told him that. I was like, it's very hard for people to take this, but I think you have 100% responsibility on how your kids turn out. Yeah. And if they turn out good, it is on you. And if they turn out bad, it is on you. I think you can dictate the future of your kids. People say you can't control what, you never know what's going to happen. BS.
It's almost like, let's peel the onion back, as me and you always say, right? So I'm a conservative family. Mom and dad conservative. They have conservative values. The first thing that they do is put their kids in public school, where they're being brainwashed. They're having propaganda. They're not teaching them education. They're brainwashing them, is what they're doing. Mm-hmm. So the reason why I think parents think that you can only raise your kid to a certain point is because they're not raising them. The school is.
Yeah.
But they think just because they come home at night and they spend the night in someone's house and you feed them highly processed food, that's the reason why they're thinking that is, I can only do so much. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, how about pull your kid out of school, put them in private Christian school, get them mentors, take the highly processed food out of the house, the medication, drop all of it, no matter what too. It's like, well, they're on antidepressants and all this stuff. It's like, okay, start fasting, get them off the medicine and start doing a homeschooling. Now tell me that parent who's watching this video who actually does that, implements what we're saying, 1 year from now, where's their kid? Like all of a sudden?
In a much better place. It just takes work.
It takes work.
It takes so much work. It takes being the trench. And I think it's like this. We're expecting to have amazing children when we're not willing to put in the time and effort to raise amazing children. How is that going to happen? Like, have you ever seen, Bryan, somebody build a business that they're like, you know what, I'm not going to put any effort and time into it, but I'm going to wake up 5 years from now a multi-billionaire.
Yeah. And I was really encouraged. I was watching your video today. You've been talking a lot about homeschooling, and I actually listened to your video. And what I thought was interesting is that people think homeschooling is this big thing, this super scary thing, because it's almost like, I'm going to start a business from the ground up. It's like, I'll never do that because it's so scary, because it's the unknown. It was so interesting hearing you break down the walls where people were like, this seems easier than it is. And I love how you brought up all the different styles of homeschooling, which I thought was so amazing. The unschooling. I mean, I'm not going to try to speak on this. And guys, if anybody's out there thinking that me and Nara homeschool Evelyn, it's just Nara. Nara, you homeschool Evelyn. Let's be honest.
You've played a part in it, but I think your intake, like what you did in homeschool, was actually very different than me, and it was really cool.
Unorthodox, right? Like, and
it was amazing.
Going to estimates,
you would take Evelyn to work with you,
100%.
Take her to estimates, make Evelyn learn sales. I mean, come on, that's amazing.
It's a form of homeschooling, right?
Yeah, I was doing the more traditional work. Yeah. Like, you're not sitting there. Well, sometimes you did, actually. You would help her with like math and things like this. That. You did. The majority was on me, but we kind of worked together, and I liked the way it was. I wasn't expecting you to do it. I was like, dude, go out there and make some money.
Yeah, right.
It's true.
100%. And I just thought it was so interesting, because if you guys don't follow Nara, go on her Instagram and follow Nara. But you were breaking down the walls, and I realized it's education that makes you get in the trench, right? If I'm wanting to get in the trench, I'm scared to death. First thing you need to do is educate yourself. Mm-hmm. And then that's going down. Now you're reading about homeschooling. Then you're like, well, if I think about it, it's actually not that hard.
The hardest thing about homeschooling, it's breaking down in your mind what you think school is. That's the hardest thing for everybody. It's not homeschooling. It's just you're battling your mindset about what education is and what a school should look like. It's like entrepreneurship. Like the hardest part of being an entrepreneur is the mindset change.
It's the hardest part. I will agree with you on that.
Okay. Once you go
You're
through
getting
that,
in your way.
yeah. That's the same thing with homeschool.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they're like, okay, I guess I'm going to do school at home. So they bring school at home and then they think they should put the kids learn every single subject. It's
Testing.
6 hours a day. Do all the testing. It's like,
they almost brought the school home.
Yeah. And that's part of the process too. Like if you're doing this, it's okay. It's normal. Most people do that in the beginning because it's like, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. And then, okay, let's talk about something I think is very important. How many people are going to persecute you because you put your kid at home?
Oh my gosh.
How much let me ask you something. I think this is very important. How much persecution did you get?
A lot. To this day, my parents don't like talking about it. Like they skip the subject. And when I tell them Evelyn's being homeschooled, they like, anyway, I don't want to hear about it. Don't talk about it. I don't get it. I don't understand. And is she in school? Like now that they know that she's like on a homeschool co-op, it makes them feel like, okay, she's in school. So okay, it's so strange. But in the beginning, I would try to explain myself. I just don't care. I quickly came to the conclusion that I don't care what other people think. And I look at the product. I have a pretty awesome kid. And then everybody that comes across Evelyn, I'm sorry, it's not because it's my kid. She's awesome. And my parents had to come to that conclusion. Like, you know what? I don't know what you're doing. I don't know how you guys live your life. It's really weird to us. But at the end of the day, wow.
Think about what you just said. You said, I got to a point where I didn't care.
I didn't care.
So I just was thinking about that. I'm like, how many parents want their kids to go to school, go to college for no other reason than what other people think about them?
Yep.
So because we've been part of dance, and those of you who don't know, we do competitive dance with Evelyn, and we sit in the
every year
you sit in the what's it called?
Well, every year they would have either at the recital, at least in the place we were at before. I don't know the new studio, but the old studio is like this. When we would have the spring recital, and it was the seniors that would invite the seniors in the front of the stage at the end of the show, and just say, well, congratulations, you're a senior. Tell us what university you're going to. And every single kid was coming in. I'm going to this university. I'm going to this university. And what is something that we told Evelyn when that would be happening?
I mean, Evelyn even said it. She said, when I get up here, I'm going to say I have 2 businesses. I'm already an entrepreneur. I'm not going to college. I would never spend money on college. And then she got that from us. And it's just that simple.
And it's funny too, because we would be speaking these things to her for a while, and she had a lot of questions. Because I imagine as a child, you hear and she would ask us, Mom, everybody's saying that they are going to college. Mom, what about this college? Somebody was making fun of me because I didn't know what college this was, and everybody knew, and blah, blah, blah. And so there was a lot of questions. And then I remember one day she came home and she was like, Mom, I was looking online and actually realized that everyone that is rich is not an employee.
They're an entrepreneur.
It's an entrepreneur. And it kind of like clicked to her. I was like, I know. She's like, oh, I see what you guys are saying. She's like, and people are going to college to be an employee. But if I want to be wealthy, those people are not employees. It's just, it was interesting.
So for the audience to understand, this is what we teach our child. You're an employee. You get taxed at the highest level if you're an employee. Then you take that money and you buy liabilities. So now you're losing money there. And you pay the highest tax. So no wonder you're not rich, because you don't understand money. As an entrepreneur, everything's a write-off. All the money you make is a return, and then you can sell the business, for example.
Yeah. And the greatest thing about being an entrepreneur is that you have your money making money. And
Money's
that's the biggest
making
thing.
money, making money.
As an employee, your money is going to liabilities. You're just spending money.
You're spending money forever.
Yeah.
And I want you guys to know that the people that put this in play are the guys on top. This is what they wanted. They wanted the entire nation to be in this system so they can be on top. And I remember Patrick Bet-David saying, if you divided all the money, would it go back to, he was saying, if you guys don't know, Patrick Bet-David did PBD podcast, great guy, entrepreneur. I think he's a billionaire, but he was just saying it would go back to the rich. And people don't understand why. Because if I gave someone $1 million, they would just spend it. That's why they don't understand it.
It's because the rich are selling and the poor are buying.
Yeah.
So if I give you all that money, I'm going to get it right back because I'm selling you everything that you're buying immediately.
Because they already own all the utilities, all the stocks. It's just, I don't know how, I wish, if you're watching this podcast, the biggest thing I wanted to say, if you're watching this podcast, understand that knowledge is everything. It's the beginning of in the trench. And then what you do with that knowledge is you start to implement it.
Yeah.
When you start to implement it, then you start to fail forward, because it's one thing to hear the knowledge. It's another thing to actually get on the grind and do it. Right.
Yeah. And my encourage to people, and this goes with everything, business, parenting, marriage, is like, stop being okay with mediocrity. That's what I would say. It's like, you need to take a step into change. You need to become better. Like if you're the same, years has been passing by and you're the same person living the same life, nothing extraordinary has happened. You haven't gone through things that made you better, that made you evolve, change. It's a problem. And I'm saying, don't be okay with that. You can be a better parent. You can be a better husband and wife. You can be a better entrepreneur. You can make more money. And it starts with you allowing yourself to get there and start believing like, you know what, you're right. Because whole society, it wants you to be numb to what is happening around you. It wants you to just go home and scroll for days and watch Netflix and go back to work, and go home, scroll for days, watch Netflix, go back to work. And that's never going to change anything about your life if you keep going that direction. So you got to take some steps into changing.
And let's encourage the audience. I mean, me and you we got married, and we were entrepreneurs from day one, and we've started 4 or 5 businesses even since then. And look how much we've changed. I mean, we've changed drastically. We've changed even the shape we're in. We take care of our bodies more than we did. The level of skills that we've acquired from there to now is monumental.
Yeah.
I think we've accomplished more in 8 years than most people do in a lifetime.
And it's been through a lot of pain.
Let's just be honest. It was hell.
Yeah.
It was hell.
But it was great too.
It was phenomenal, but it was hell. Right or not?
It was not avoiding what was hard.
Yeah. I think we went head on with it. And we went, and it was awesome. Yeah. I think you're saying it spot on. It was awesome. It really was. Yeah. It was really awesome. So I've lost my train of thought there again. I don't know what to say. I was going somewhere with that, but I can't remember what it was. So it's a good time for a break. All right. So Armora Colostrum. Okay, as a family, we care deeply about health. We believe it's the foundation for everything. When you're in the healthiest place of your life, you're more productive, you're happier, and you can show up better for your family and community. That's why we started using Armora Colostrum every single day. Armora Colostrum is about rebuilding health from the inside out. Today, our bodies face so much, from pollution and pesticides to stressed and processed foods, and all of it takes a toll. What makes Armora Colostrum special is that it takes nature's first food and uses a unique cold chain biopotent process to keep its goodness intact. Inside every serving are over 400 powerful nutrients, things like antibodies, peptides, growth factors, prebiotics, antioxidants. It's science and nature working together to help your body stay strong in a modern world. For us, that meant feeling more energized, noticing quicker recovery, clearer skin, and just an overall stronger foundation of health. It's one of the small daily choices that makes a big difference in how we feel as a family. If you're ready to take your health seriously, give it a try. Use our code Nara Wiggins, all together for 15% off at armor.com/Nara Wiggins, or Armora Colostrum, the revival of health. Yeah. So what I was thinking is let's go back to the show.
Can we go back and talk about Charlie Kirk?
Let's talk. Well, one second. Okay. The reward of getting in the trench is what I wanted to say.
Okay.
The fact that we are 100% different, right? We are 100% different. But what I was going to tell you is, I literally was driving over to the job, and I was thinking how much more I love you today. And I was like, that came at a cost. No, think about it. I think that people don't understand that when you learn how to communicate with your spouse, when you learn how to like be a gentleman, because I was in the Marine Corps, 3 combat deployments, you name it. Learning how to be a gentleman, and then learning how to like get my body into a better shape, right? Being an entrepreneur, being a better provider, isn't all those things that shouldn't you look forward to that?
Yeah.
So I think so many times people need a fresh start in their marriage, but they're not changing. So it's almost like getting a new car. When your husband starts going to the gym, getting in better shape, building a better business, he's working on his character. So you get what I'm trying to say is you get the benefits of being in the trench.
Yeah.
So it's like the same with you. I'm like, I love you more than I loved you when we first got married. And I don't think a lot of people can say that. What do you think?
I agree. We've been putting in the work. We are not avoiding the tough conversations. We're not avoiding going through challenges together. We're, talking about everything. We are discussing, our goals, our plans for the future, directions we want to go to. We're constantly talking about a lot. And I think it just made us grow more in love and get closer together, get closer as a family. Every struggle that I've gone through, even with Evelyn, we came closer together to her. And I love it.
And I think that closeness, and I'm going to speak from a guy's perspective, that closeness, even in intimacy, you can't negate when you have surface level intimacy versus when you have deep level intimacy. There's no woman on the face of the earth that a guy will get satisfied. Mm-hmm. You can't replace that. And I think so many guys are looking for this young, vibrant, girl to replace, their wife. It's happening all the time. And they don't realize if they just worked on themselves and worked with their spouse. And let's say you're overweight. Let's say you're watching this podcast, you're overweight. Imagine what everything would be like if you just lost your weight, got in better shape. I mean, I want to be, it's like straight up. It's so much better, right?
Yeah.
So it's like everything that's hard is so much better on the other side.
The greater the cost, the greater the reward.
And what I'm trying to say is everybody benefits from it. Everybody.
Yep.
So I just think that's interesting. To go back to Charlie Kirk, and guys, I mean, Charlie Kirk, that's a lot. Okay. I mean, just to think about everything that happened in such a short amount of time, I was thinking, the reason why he was executed was because he was talking. And he was talking about things that people didn't want him to talk about. And that's the reason why he got killed. And it was just communicating. And if you guys don't even understand the power of communicating, I think Charlie Kirk talked about this more than anything, is that if you silence people, that is the end of everything. Mm-hmm. And that's what they want us to do. They want us to be quiet. You think that anybody wants us talking about the stuff we're talking about right now? Mm. Now think about the big governments, right? They don't want us to tell people homeschooling and the nucleus family and be an entrepreneur and learn how to avoid taxes. And that's why he got killed. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. So Charlie Kirk, what was happening with him is that he was talking about the things that you're never supposed to talk about, right? Like if you want to keep cordial, what do you not talk about? Gender, you shouldn't talk about politics, and you shouldn't talk about religion. And he was out there in the trench. That's the one thing that I really admire about him, especially seeing now understanding what he was doing. He didn't have to be out there in amongst those people anymore. Like he was running a big organization. I heard the organization was making about $100 million a year. He had 1,000 employees. So he didn't really have to be the face of it going to the college. He could have sent other people to do it. He could have just been behind a desk. And he decided to be like, no, I'm going to be in the trench. I'm actually going to do whatever it takes and love these people, because that's actually love. Telling people the truth was actually love. And that's what is so encouraging to me about him. It really is that he was willing to get in the trench no matter what. And he was reaping amazing rewards because of it. Even today, like he was being very efficient in changing people's minds and making people see that they were being brainwashed and converting them from lies to truth. And
that was my original point. That what I was talking about. If you're watching this and you're a liberal, what is the fruit of that ideal versus what is the fruit of what Charlie was preaching? Like almost like if you could pick someone to coach your child, who would you pick and what would be the fruit? Mm-hmm. And I don't think people are thinking about that. I think they're thinking about religion. I think they're thinking about where they've been programmed. What do you think? Yeah.
No, I agree. I think that he was, I think at the end of the day, man, I'm going to tell you, because we were even speaking about this yesterday. He was loving people because what he was doing was not easy to do. Meaning like this, we were saying
patience, love, kindness, gentleness.
Yeah. How much patience and love did it take for him to actually go there and sit down with the people? I mean, would you have the patience to deal with those?
I wouldn't.
I know most of us
And
wouldn't,
actually, that is why I didn't follow Charlie Kirk.
because it was annoying to even watch.
Yes.
You're like, I'm gonna strangle this kid.
I think I grew up differently than I actually think I wouldn't strangle those kids. I would strangle their parents. I think that's who I'm mad with the most. Like, we're not taking action as parents. And me and you are we're diehard parents. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the best parent. I love the fact that I'm not. I actually think that's why Evelyn has the product that she has. Evelyn would not sit here and be like, my dad's perfect.
No,
she wouldn't even think that one bit. But the girl loves me to death. She honors me. And Evelyn has had it hard with me. Can you agree with that? But Evelyn loves the fact that I was hard on her.
Yeah.
And it's because
made her feel loved.
It's not, I don't even, okay. Let's say that she feels loved. I think it's because of who she became. I think she loves herself because of who I made her into be.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think today she's like, well, I'm living in it's almost like if I train someone to, like, in the Marine Corps, we train people. Do you think it was hard training people, like getting them to be repetition and doing all the things that they did and molding them into another character? Like how hard that was?
Yeah.
And at the end of it, they were so disciplined that they just morphed into this new person that they fell in love with. And
they even love who they became.
They love it. And I think too, it's like our parents, right, that are left, that are completely on the left, are coddling their kids. They're saying, dude, be whatever you want. If you want to be a girl, be a girl. If you want to be a guy, be a guy. It's such an easy, if you want to eat highly processed food, eat highly processed food. But they don't realize that they're almost ripping the soul out of their kids. Right?
I agree.
So I think that if you just look at what Charlie Kirk was doing, it was a monumental mission from heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
And he did it.
And his heart was on Jesus. So I think that's what it was really cool to see. His greatest mission was to proclaim the gospel. He was sold out for Jesus. Yep. He was brave. He was not afraid of showing people that he was all about Jesus, to preach the gospel, to speak truly of the truth of the Bible and who God is. And that's pretty incredible, Bryan, for him to be doing this, because he was changing a generation of kids who need God. That's what we forget. They need God. They are the most depressed, anxious. They are the most addicted to pornography, screen. I mean, they're coming from divided families, separated families, divorced families, single moms. I mean, there's a lot going on in this generation that and they're having no relationship with each other. Meaning like this, you know what I'm saying? Like, we grew up where we're all close to each other. Everybody was together. Now it's like, it's a very isolated life. And he was out there preaching God's word. And let me tell another thing that I really loved about Charlie Kirk is that his work for the gospel, for God, was outside of the walls of the church. Isn't that interesting?
I love this point.
He was, you can say whatever you want. He wasn't in the church. He was preaching, telling people go to church and do all of this, blah, blah. But his mission was outside of the walls of the church, which most people are so comfortable being at church. They're not willing to do anything outside of the church. They think they should just go look pretty, right? Worship, receive the word, go back home and keep going with their life and do nothing. So he was using his life, his mission purpose to reach people outside of the walls of the church. And that's amazing, because isn't that what God told us to do? Jesus.
I mean, if you look at the early disciples, they were in the trench. I'm just thinking about this message that we're bringing to the public. And I'm like, if you were to bring this message to the church and say, we're going to train you, we're going to put everybody in the trench and they're going to be sent out, and they're going to be Charlie Kirks, they're going to start businesses, they're going to get into politics, they're going to get in the school systems, there would be nobody at the church. So if we're just being honest with ourselves, the church system is very flawed, in my opinion. Even though we love that, like, people meet Jesus in the church, and I think that's great. But when it comes to discipleship, when it comes to iron sharpening iron and becoming better, what you see really, in my opinion, is a bunch of church, like, everybody goes to the church. What do they want to do? They want to be a worship leader. They want to be a pastor. They want to be a deacon. They want to be someone who hands out coffee. But and I don't even know if we should go into this, but maybe since we're on the topic of it, Matthew 6 talks about the love of money. It talks about the person you are, that, that don't leave behind or don't store up treasures on earth because they rust and decay and blah, blah, blah. Well, if you look at that, what it's talking about is it's literally talking about, we don't have time to get into it on this podcast, but it's talking about skills and it's talking about your character. That's really what it's talking about that you pass over. And it's like, if you were to go down the line and just ask everybody, what's your skills, what is your character, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, do you have marketing talent? Do you know how to recruit? Do you know how to build a business? Do you know how to lead? Do you know how to lead people? Do you know how to start organizations? Do you know how to get funding? Do you know how to start movements? Do you have any of these traits? Most of them would be like, I know how to follow orders. I know how to show up on church on Sunday. I know how to pay my bills, and I know how to do what I'm told. And that's like, those are none of the character traits that anybody in the trench has. You know this more than anybody, that anybody in the trench develops skills that you do not get in this world.
Mm-hmm. Like you can't purchase that.
You can't purchase them.
Meaning like this, you're going to spend money getting those skills. It's part of the cost, but you can't purchase, and nobody can take it away from you.
And what Jesus was saying in Matthew 6 was what you just said. It's the thing that nobody can take away. So what? This is people will not get this, that if you take away a man's money, he'll get it back.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of the skills and the character that he has in 2 seconds. People don't understand that you can lose money and you'll get it back in 3 seconds when you have these skills, these developments.
Yeah.
You can't take it away.
Yeah.
And that's why you actually can't be, that's why you also can't lose it, because it's who you became.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think, at the end of the day, Charlie was a guy who went, let's just talk about the character of Charlie. He perfected the articulation of understanding debating. And he did it in the most respectful way. And that's why he was seeing people turn, because he perfected his art.
Yeah.
And that's why he was so global.
Yeah.
Is because he was changing so many people's point of view, which took him being in the trench to develop those skills.
Yep.
And that's honorable.
It was, guys. And I know we're just, we're talking about this, and we want you all to know that it really, on an emotional level and a spiritual level, it affected us tremendously, more than we thought. I was crying on that day. I think Bryan was having a hard time holding tears back. And we were both really affected by what happened to Charlie Kirk, more than I ever thought. But we also noticed something change in the atmosphere, not only with us, but with everyone around the world.
Yeah.
And his death was not in vain. I think God is waking
The
up.
opposite.
God is waking up people. God is stirring up a fire inside of people.
Yep.
God is equipping people. It's sending people out right now, and it's nudging them. The Holy Spirit is to just go out and fulfill your mission. I'm with you.
Yep.
You're not doing this alone. Life has a greater purpose, because he made us all wake up to reality. Like, this life, it's going to be over one day.
Yep.
You want to make sure that when you die,
Fast.
you left a legacy behind, and you lived a life with purpose. You became the best person you could have been on this earth, and you fulfilled your mission. And that's what, at the end of the day, even though it was so sad and heartbroken, and I'm still like, I still can't believe it happened.
Yeah.
It has ignited me and you and so many other people in the world to stand up for truth. And that's powerful.
Yeah. It's my good and faithful servant. It really is. I think, I know, I don't have to say think. Charlie Kirk stood before the pearly gates, and Jesus welcomed him in, and he said, my good and faithful servant, you did so much with your life. And I guarantee you, he took him to the edge of heaven and showed him, look at what you did.
Yeah.
And I heard some people saying on the video, it's like, well, look, they always say this, well, look what Jesus did through him. I'm like, stop being religious. It's like, I think people misunderstand. Like, we were created before the foundations of the earth in God's image, that we are God-like. And when you step into Christianity, what Jesus does is he awakens your spirit. But this is your opportunity to become who you were before the foundations of the earth.
Yeah. And you can co-create with the creator.
I love it. And he does. He gets excited with you.
He gets excited because it's like, it's not all God. It's you opening yourself up to God, and you having fun, and you being obedient to God. And you're like, what are we going to create together, God? And it does take you making that decision. God doesn't force you.
I think people, me and you guys don't know this. Me and Nara went to many churches, and we did a lot of ministry stuff. And we were always like, we always seen people wanting God to do, like, they wanted the building of the roof to be opened up, and Jesus come down and say, I am here, I'm a fire, and like move their mouth and everything. No, I think this is going to hurt a lot of people, and I hope it does. Is I think so many people, like, I hear it all the time, well, it ain't me, it's Jesus in me. It's like, it's you. Jesus, like, you may have a relationship with him and you may have received the Holy Spirit, but Jesus hasn't taken over your body. He's not speaking for you.
And what you're trying to say with this is obviously is Jesus moving through you. Is Jesus who, if you're a Christian, you have Jesus inside of you, and without him, nothing is possible. But I think what Bryan's trying to say here is that you got to make the move. You got to respond to it. And actually, God has already made his move.
I think it's take responsibility.
I think
that's what I'm trying to say.
Meaning like this, if you're not going that direction, don't say that it is because God has not knocked on your door or knocked you down, or that's, so it's like, I'm going to wait until that moment happens. Like, no.
And know that Jesus is going to empower you. He's not going to empower himself. Like Jesus he's already, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like Jesus is in the fullness. It's like he's going to empower you. And he's going to lift you up.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk was lifted up, and he allowed Jesus to move through him, right? I understand that concept. But I just think, at the end of the day, what I would tell people is just really understand that you can become better. Like you can physically, spiritually, mentally, and intellectually become better.
Yeah. And God wants you to.
And he's excited about it. Because you know why? He's going to use you.
Yes.
It's like, I hear this all the time. God can use anybody. I'm like, okay, like God used Moses. Moses was illiterate and all this stuff. I'm like, but how was he after God used him? What was his transformation? Was it zero transformation?
Yeah.
He didn't become a better speaker. He didn't become a better leader through that whole process. It's like, come on, wake up, people. It's like he became, like, God took him when he was nothing, but first of all, he submitted. He got in the trench. He got mission. So he got his papers, and then he started on his path. Nobody talks about his felling all the way forward. And then did he become a better person? Did he become a better leader? Did he become a giant?
I was seeing, it just made me think of this real quick. Myra Golden was talking about this, that if you want to know if something is a scam or not, he said, if he promises you rewards without you having to become better or put in the work. He's like, it's so simple to know if something or someone or it's a scam. He's like, if they're saying, dude, you don't got to do nothing. All you got to do is give me your money. It's just going to be so easy, so simple, so fast. It's like, you don't got to do nothing. Actually, you don't even got to move. You just got to pay me. He's like, it's a scam because everything in life requires work. So, but if I'm coming to you and say, hey, it's going to cost you something and you're going to have to put in the work and you're going to get the reward. Now it aligns with God and aligns with truth because you just cannot do one without the other.
That's 100% fact.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think that's my whole thing was Charlie Kirk was speaking, and we have to now more than ever speak. And I think what I wanted to tell people is, first of all, I never talked about it, but that wrecked me. I wasn't following Charlie Kirk. You know that. I really didn't pay attention to anything. That horrific video of him getting shot and dying. And I think people think that he died later. He died immediately. And I will say that from my professional standpoint. He died immediately. And watching a man so innocent as Charlie Kirk, innocent, like, he was the most innocent man on the face of the earth, get killed like a animal. That did something to me. And it was that did it. It was like, wow, I just watched an innocent man get shot in cold blood. And
it's like, people, wake up.
Wake up.
Come on.
And it was because,
when are you going to wake up?
He was speaking. But the second thing that people don't understand why it hit me as hard as it did is because this happened in America. Wake up, people.
Wow.
It happened in America.
It's like, it's been happening everywhere, but in America?
Yeah. And so, and to touch on this too, you guys are going to be amazed by this. But when we went to church and the church is left, you can tell they're liberal. It's a liberal church. And I can go on and for days about how I'm okay with that. I really am. I really am. And I'll touch on that in a minute. But the problem I had the most was they didn't want to lift up Charlie Kirk for what he stood for. Right? He stood for conservatism. He stood for Donald Trump. And you have a bunch of donors that are donating money that if you say you stood up for Charlie Kirk, they would not give you money. But the thing that I could not understand is that we had a martyr in America and they were saying it's not a big deal. But yet we hear churches all over America saying, pray for people in China. Like, pray for the babies. We want
a revival in America. Americans are way too comfortable. You guys have no idea what it's like to preach the gospel and be persecuted. Well, this just happened in America.
And
Christians are being persecuted.
Yeah.
Martyrs are being created. You being shot cold blood on an open day in the afternoon because of your values of Christianity. So
I
hello.
love this. And think about this
And we're
too.
not going to talk about it.
And think about this too. Who is speaking out right now? Is it the church? Is the church speaking against abortion? Is the church?
No.
Well, they might be doing it behind closed doors. Are they going to college campuses?
Churches are political today.
I was just saying,
extremely
are they
political.
going to college campuses?
No.
Because I've been to church and they say, if you are, God's against homophobic, God's against that, but they do it on their YouTube.
God is against gay people you're talking about.
Yes. God's against a guy loving another guy, right?
Yeah. Okay.
They'll say it, but will they go to college campuses and say it? So we're not facing persecution in America because we're too scared.
Oh, because we're comfortable.
We're comfortable.
It's
we're
what they
weak.
said. Like, we are comfortable. It's true. America's very comfortable.
And I think America was under the impression that we were a Christian nation. Like, what I mean by that is that the elites, the people on top, are Christian. But the truth is, the elites do not want us to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So the moment we'll receive persecution is when we start speaking.
Yep. That's it. That's why
And
he
that's not
received the
happening.
persecution. And let me tell you something. One thing that I love, though, is like, I am loving seeing this Gen Z generation. It's like, it's the most conservative generation. It's the most Christian generation that we've ever seen, Brian. I'm telling you. And you know what's amazing about this? That they say throughout your life, usually you're liberal. That's a normal progress of life. Like, you are young because you want peace and love. You can understand certain things. So you're liberal. And as you grow older, you start changing and becoming more conservative. You can see this to Joe Rogan, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're saying that the opposite never happens. You usually don't have somebody who's conservative and throughout the time they become more liberal. So what is it going to be this generation like? Because they're already starting as conservatives and having values in God. How are they going to be? They're just going to be stronger.
And I
So
think
it's pretty
too,
amazing.
And I think too, they're seeing their weak parents. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Because they're like,
They're like, I don't get it.
Why are you so weak? Why won't you stand up? Like the church that just happened. How many people were like, that was weak?
That was weak. So, and we're talking about, like a church not doing what is right. Like, stop caring about your donors, how much money you're making with this business, and being political correct. It's like,
I want to know.
It's crazy. And guys, I want to make something very clear. Like, my walk and Brian's walk with God and the church, it's been many years and it's very mature. We've gone through many different phases. And sometimes we're speaking this. And if you're a new Christian, like, we don't want this to get to you. Church is not bad. Like, a lot of people need to go to church. Okay. It's good that you go to church. Like, and we're not even against. It's just like, obviously, with the maturity that we have, you have to pick the right church. Make sure you're under a good leadership that is like actually true Bible. Even Charlie Kirk talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that they're Bible believers, because there's so many churches out there that are not. They're manipulating you. They're gaslighting you. And people are innocent. You come to Christ, you're open-hearted. You're like, okay, here I am. Teach me everything that I need to know. Just like the kids in college. They're like, please, I'm here because I want to have a better life, better career. And they're just being taken advantage of. Same thing with a lot of churches. So be open, go to God, pray to God. If you feel a little bit urged in your spirit, is your Holy Spirit guiding you? And we're not here to condemn our church, but we've seen so much and gone through so much that we have the maturity to pick up on things pretty quick right now.
I love that, and I think it was spot on that you brought that up, because I think that we were painting a different picture, right? It's true. You should absolutely go to church, and we go to church. Yeah. So it's like, for us to say that, would totally be against what we believe. We believe you should absolutely go to church. You should be in a body. You should congregate. You should, you should absolutely be around people that are teaching the word and reading the word and praying. Yeah. You should definitely unite. 1,000%.
And that's what we hope to do. Part of, again, we want to do this podcast, just encourage people to listen into what is good, what is right, and be open-minded, and meaning, and seek God and get outside of your comfort zone and do whatever it takes to become a better person, leave your family a legacy, become wealthy, conquered your goals, have large goals and conquer them and live a full life. Because it's like, if you look at Charlie Kirk, he was living a full life. He was living his dream life. He was doing what he loved. He was having a very a successful organization. He had a family that he loved. He had children that he loved. I mean, how amazing. And he wanted people to experience that. And I think part of what we want to do, we want people to experience the best of this life that they can. And the only way that that can happen is you stop believing the lies that people are trying to tell you out there, because those are lies.
Yeah.
You know, and then if you start being open into the truth, you're going to open the doors for an amazing life that God wants for you to have here on this earth.
Yeah. And, you just got me thinking, if I were to give someone a piece of advice about church, I think my advice would be get laser focused on the mission that God has called you to be on. If you do that, that should be your utmost priority. So I'll use myself as an example. I have a mission to build a business. I have a mission to give impact to communities. I have a mission to actually change people's lives. I have a mission to employ people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And provide for them. I have a mission to speak truth. That's my mission. And I go to church. So what I'm trying to say is, if you go to church and the biggest thing you're doing in life is going to church,
Mm-hmm.
then that's I think that's a mature thing to say to someone, that if that's the biggest thing you do is go to church on Sunday, and that's what you're doing with God,
Mm-hmm.
is going to church, then I think that I would ask you to reevaluate your life, even in the new Christianity walk.
Yeah.
Does that make kind of sense?
It makes total sense.
Because I think what ends up happening is, if you feel like the pastor is doing more than you are, then that's where you're wrong.
Yeah, that's it.
Right? Does that make sense what I'm saying?
It does. I love it.
Because it's like, Charlie Kirk went to church.
Mhm.
Was he doing more than most of the congregation?
Mm-hmm. Yes, he was.
I go to church and I look around and I'm like, I'm doing a lot for God.
Yeah.
And
I
God's
want to
using
do,
me.
and I want to do more.
And I want to do more.
I want to do more. I don't think I'm doing enough. And that's a good place to start. I'm not at all.
And I think
But I
I
want to.
love this idea too of going to church where the pastor's a little bit intimidated by who you are. Is there anything wrong with that?
Yeah.
Like, you are a successful entrepreneur, you're a
Mhm.
successful author, you have a massive following on social media, you actually have impact in the communities. Wouldn't it be okay if you're
And intimidated in a good way, because it's like
well,
you
it's
are.
great.
It's also like this. Don't you want to have friends around you that are going places,
Yeah.
and you guys are intimidating each other, pushing each other, kind of like being that in that vibe
And
in that mission.
And I think what I would tell the church, if you feel like you're below your pastor, that's where I think it's wrong. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like,
Go deeper.
where I'm worshiping the pastor instead of God.
How like he's untouchable and only he can do this, and he's just like, oh man, I could never be doing what he's doing. Yeah, I
And I
agree.
think that, like, let's look at the pastor. He is on a mission with God and he's fulfilling his mission.
Yeah.
So I think if I'm in a relationship with God, he has a mission for me, and his mission, and this is going to be hard for the church, is not to be a deacon, is not to serve coffee. It's not.
Mhm.
If you do that, cool. I mean, cool.
Do you believe that for some people that is their mission, though,
I don't.
to become a pastor?
Oh yeah, to be a pastor for sure.
Are you meaning like just people who are serving a church? I
think
got what you're saying. Like your mission to serve God is to come here and pour coffee for people on a Sunday and greet people at the door. Like if
This
that's
is not your mission.
yeah, like this is just great to do. You're serving,
Yeah.
but God has a greater
It's not your
calling for
mission.
you.
And
Got it.
I'm telling you that you're not going to get to heaven and God's going to say, man, the fact that you passed out coffee, I mean, wow, you changed so many people's lives. It's like, do we need to be honest
That's
with
just
people?
part of it. It's the same thing as I
Me
understand
washing
what
the
you do.
dishes.
It's like this. Yeah, God is saying, oh, the fact that you went to the gym, Bryan, and you put your body amazing.
No,
It's like, well, that's just part of my life. I mean, the greatest mission was something greater than that. Yeah.
And I think that people need to understand that. It's like, your mission is great on this earth. It's just you're avoiding the trench, so you'll never know what it is.
Mhm.
You have to get in the trench, which is the hardest thing you'll ever do. So the viewers that are watching, it's like, what is the trench to you? You know, I can tell people what the trench was for me. When I first got saved, when I first gave my life to Christ, I said, I want to be a pastor or a missionary. And you believe that. You've
Mhm.
seen me. God told me to join the Marine Corps. What is that? Then God told me, I said, God, I want to be a pastor or missionary. God said, you're going to be a businessman. I don't want to be a businessman. A lot of people say this, pastors will say this. They didn't want to be a pastor, but God was chasing them until they became a pastor. Mine was becoming a businessman. I was in ministry. I wanted to be a pastor. I wanted to be a missionary. I wanted to be an evangelist. God told me I'm going to be a businessman. And he was chasing me down.
Yep.
That was my trench. Can you agree with that?
Yeah.
I started many businesses, but Dude's Company was the trench. We started a business in Knoxville, and we did $30,000 our first month. We turned it into $1 million company. How much stuff, how much character was developed? Say that. Actually, tell the audience that you saw. Let's be honest. You saw a little kid. You married a kid, right? I was a kid at one point. You saw that little kid become a man in that transformation process.
Because you were choosing to do one of the hardest things, which is build a business. It's like, do you want to become better? I'm going to tell you, everybody out there, if you you know what, I want to become a better person. I really want to go find out how far I can go and be the best I can be. Build a business, because it's going to be one of the hardest things, but most rewarding, not only for the aspect of wealth, but who you become.
Yeah.
You know who you, and I saw this with you, and it took everything out of you.
Yeah, you saw me.
And I saw you become very serious and more mature and more wise and more focused. And you learned so much. And man, and you had to have a lot of faith. You had to overcome so many obstacles. Walk on water. Yeah.
And do you remember what I said? When I was at the point of where I was going to sell it, I said, I feel like, I don't know if you remember me saying this. I said, I feel like I'm a completely different person. I feel like I came out of a shell. That old Bryan is gone. He's completely different. So I would ask the audience, are you ready for that new person? Can you welcome him in your life or her in your life?
Yeah.
And is that, so it's that's my message to people. So I want to talk about Charlie Kirk real quick. Charlie Kirk gave me a nudge. I was sitting there driving. Obviously, the whole thing was one of the hardest things I've gone through this year. I can honestly say that. But he gave me a nudge, and it's time to speak. And the audience doesn't know this, but when I was in Brazil, we were doing ministry work. We were evangelizing. We were praying for the sick. We were helping all kinds of walks of churches evangelize. God was using us in a mighty way. And I remember clearly that God said, it's time to be quiet. And what I didn't realize that what God was saying, it's time for you to get in the trench, you baby Christian. This is going to be hard for people to hear this.
In a most loving way, it was true.
This is going to be hard for people that are watching this. Jesus said, it's time for you to grow up, Bryan. You're going to go through one of the most difficult times of your entire life. And you're going to become a warrior at the end of that path. And I think sometimes that you need to embrace that, because I think going to church and being a youth leader and that it may not be your calling. It may be going to war, 3 combat deployments, combat instructor for 6 training cycles, right? Going into building a business from the ground up, because we didn't even talk about that. We built this business where we didn't have any funding. We didn't have any equipment. We didn't even know what we were doing. Barely knew how to do the job I was doing. I did so many jobs. I fell off a roof, broke my foot, fractured my spine, and you saw me. I kept going even after that. Didn't take any breaks. That was the trench.
And what is the reward now from that season?
I think that this, Nara, I love the question you just asked. This is gonna be amazing. When you join the Marine Corps, it is the hardest thing you will ever go through. It is. Any Marine on here will be like, yeah, that was a game changer. You show up day one, they shave your head violently. They shave your head. We were bleeding. You strip down to where you're butt naked in front of guys. And I'm going to be honest with you, as a civilian, you don't get naked in front of guys. It's just weird. It was the first time I ever did it. You change into underwear, white underwear, which is not my generation. We were boxers. So I'm wearing whitey tighties. That's what they call them. And I remember going through, it was the pre-boot camp. And I thought that was boot camp, meaning that was so freaking hard for me that I didn't even know. He said, tomorrow you're meeting your drill instructors. I'm like, I thought we already met our drill instructors. Seriously, I'm not making this up.
Send me back.
Yeah, what is this? If there was a bell, I would have rung it. So then you meet your drill instructors. Anyway, you go through boot camp. And that was one of the hardest things you ever did. Then you go to School of Infantry. The first guy I met was 6'5", almost 300 pounds. He was missing an eye. He had a patch on. Hardest guy you've ever met. He's probably gone through 7 of the worst deployments you could think of. Fallujah. I mean, all the infantry, all the beginning wars where they were really getting hit hard. And I remember the drill instructor in boot camp told us that we were, at least this is what I got, that you would be staying in like a hotel room. So bring all your stuff. So I brought all my civilian gear. Okay. So I had too many bags. So he yokes me up and he's like, he takes my bag and he's throwing it. And it what seemed to be 10, 15 feet in front of me. It's hitting the ground. I want you to picture that. You're walking, like you're like, okay, you're about to go to a college. Right? So you went to college. You can understand that, right? You meet these guys and they're like, get in line, da, 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 da. So you grab your bag, right? You're a civilian, you're soft. And they take your bag and they chunk it out of your hand. And this is your civilian personal belongings. And they're chunking it 15 feet in front of you. And you're watching your belongings hit the ground. And you're like,
what'd you do after that?
I mean, it's like, is this really happening?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
Did you
really?
get to pick it up?
No, so I'm running to grab it. And the reason why they were doing that is because I was lagging because I had too much weight.
Of course.
Right? And you can see that. So I go up the staircase. The combat instructor takes my bag and throws it down the stairs. So think about how humiliating that is. I'm like, now I have to go back downstairs.
Oh.
So what I'm trying to say is boot camp was hard. It wasn't even close to as hard as combat instructor, like infantry training battalion. So it got harder is what I'm trying to tell you. So then you're thinking, we graduate infantry training battalion. We're going to the fleet. And we're like, oh, it's going to be easy from now on. Day one in the fleet was a nightmare compared to everything we just went through. It was even harder than boot camp, even harder than School of Infantry. The fleet was a nightmare.
Like, think, when is this going to end?
Yeah, you're like, is this going to get easier? Then you do field ops. You're going into the field ops. You're working 5 days a week. You're getting hazed. Okay, then you go on your first deployment. Your first deployment, like my first deployment was Iraq. There was 7 guys on our vehicle. We're all supposed to rotate Firewatch. Well, me and the new guy are the only ones rotating Firewatch. So it's me, him, me, him, me, him. It's supposed to be 7 guys. So you're going through that deployment. You're like, is this going to get easier? So the whole point of what I'm saying is you get to a point when I was in the Marine Corps, I became a sergeant. And I became a very hard individual, as you can see. It's not that it gets easier. It's that you become harder. And when you become harder, everything is easy.
Mm.
So you asked me, how do I feel now starting a business and growing a business? It's easy.
Mm.
I can start a business in 2 seconds. It's because of who I've become.
Because of the things you've gone through.
In the trench.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So this is what our youth is not understanding is that it's hard for you because you're weak. There were privates that were asking me, hey, hey, Sergeant Wiggins, what are the boots that make it easier to hike? And I said, hard feet. Hard feet, it makes it easy to hike. Well, we wear nice boots because we already have hard feet. Your boots are not going to make it easy.
No. You have to become better. Yeah.
So amazing. I think the left, so we can almost say this.
That's it.
The left is saying, have it easy. Have it your way. Everything is handed to you. Food stamps. I mean, it's all part of the plan. Have it easy. You take a poor person and you take the victim out of them and you be as hard as you can on that person. I want to say this, and this is, I hope this pisses people off. We had black thugs, ghetto black thugs, join the Marine Corps. After, and I want to have some black people on this podcast say, yeah, that was me. That grew up poor, had all their slangs. They get done with boot camp and School of Infantry. They're a freaking Marine. They're talking properly. They're talking like the rest of us. They're excelling. They become sergeant majors. Why? Because they got the shit beat out of them.
Isn't that amazing? Like there's no black and white.
There's no black and white.
A Marine.
Oh, and I promise you there's and I don't know if there's racism in the Marine Corps. There wasn't when I was around. It was like all of us were in the shit.
I think, of course, because you're in the trench together. Like all that fluff goes out the way.
Yeah, you think the combat instructor cares if you're black or white or Chinese or Asian? I never did. Yeah. I treated them all the same. I remember I'd be like, platoon, whatever. They go to snap. And I'm like, I hate all of you equally. Every one of you. Equally. I don't hate one of you more than the other. I hate all of you.
Oh, man. That's so awesome. And that's it. I think that's the whole vision, that the whole message that we want to leave people with. Like, stop avoiding going to the trench.
Dude,
stop avoiding the hard stuff. Stop avoiding doing whatever it takes for you to become better, because that's exactly what you need. You're going to be more fulfilled. You're going to be happier. You're going to be stronger. You're going to be building a legacy that you never thought you would build. You would feel like you have a purpose. You're going to feel like you can take more and life can become more exciting, and you're going to jump into more things that you're doing, more opportunities that are coming from that because you're able to.
Dude.
And because other people are seeing your abilities as well.
Dude.
So it's kind of like so cool.
You know what I want to say?
Yeah.
You were an immigrant, right? From Brazil. And I spent some time in Brazil. It's a very soft culture.
Yes.
Okay. You did the hardest thing.
Mm-hmm.
You came to America against all odds, right?
Yes.
It's like you went to college and then you had to go to college again.
I had a little bit of American in me.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to choose the hardest route.
Guys, she's being humble. She has Marine in her. I don't even get it. You should have been in the Marine Corps.
You gonna tell them?
Yeah, Sanchez, Sergeant Major Sanchez. That's Nora.
He says that I have the knife. What's
Oh
it
yeah,
called?
she's knife handed me on a few occasions. It's this, and you've actually knife handed me. Yeah. I'm like, what is this?
No, but it's true. I did choose the hard route in my life, and
I really do think you did.
It.
I think in all ways, actually, if I look at your life, I think the thing that made me so attracted to you is I saw that you chose the hard path.
Mm-hmm.
You could just tell. And I think from a woman's perspective, right? Because in the trench, people got a really good idea of what that is. But for you in the trench, I mean, you've done things that, like, you went to a college where you didn't speak the language.
Yeah.
You had to, like a baboon, you had to be like, I speak no English, or however you do it.
Don't you have an accent?
Yeah, don't you have a, yeah. Okay, you did that.
Oh, man, my life. I mean, if you explain, I've gone through a lot. So I came to America when I was 20, and I came to study English. You know, my English was so terrible. I was studying journalism in Brazil, but my English was so terrible and I needed to learn, and I couldn't stand in English, that I said, listen, if I go and spend a year in America, I'm going to freaking learn this language and move on with my life so I can have it for my career. And ended up coming here. And yeah, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. Ended up going to college, staying here, finishing my studies here in America. And oh man, and it was one of the hardest things I've gone through. It's like, it's not, America's not for the weak as an immigrant. That's why immigrants they're so grateful to be here, and they become this person that is like, they can't even go back home anymore because they're a brand new human being. And that's what it was with me. It was even hard for my family to take the person I became because I had to do everything on my own. And in Brazil, you know, the culture is soft. You have your parents helping you, everybody helping you. And I didn't want that life for me. I never wanted that life for me. I always wanted to go out and branch and do things on my own in a way that I could be proud of my journey, that I could find out things that I could do. And it changed me forever. And, I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah.
I've experienced the most amazing things in my life because of it. But it wasn't easy. Yeah. No.
Yeah, dude. I think that you would see your younger self and you would say, yeah,
oh my gosh,
keep going. No, it's like, keep going. Like, you got this, girl.
You got this.
Like, you're going to go back to America with a child. Like, you could have chose the easy path there.
Yeah.
You know, and I know you probably don't want to get into all that.
No, we're not. We'll share my story one time.
Guys,
it's a long story.
I can't wait for her to share her story, because this girl has lived in the trench.
At the end of the day, I think that's what you're trying to say. You look at somebody like Bryan. A lot of people are like, why are you so confident? Why you walk the way that you do?
Yeah.
Why are you not afraid of doing things? Why you take risks? All that. There's a reason why. Because he's been in the trench.
Yeah.
You look at somebody like me and you're like, why? How can you be homeschooling your daughter? How can you be? I see the relationship you have with your wife, Bryan. It's different.
Yep.
Why is your wife like this? She's confident.
Yes.
Why she's putting herself out there? Why she's not afraid of taking risk with you? Because I've been in the trench.
Yeah.
I've gone through a lot.
Yeah.
Both by myself, Bryan by himself, and then since we've been together. And guess what? He made us better people.
Yeah. And I want to say this too, because I think you touched on something, and we'll wrap this podcast up. But for the guys out there that are like Andrew Tate, I want to be with all these women, you know, and I just want to be the leader, the provider, and all that stuff. They're missing out on the woman that they could be with. I think about that all the time. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't trade you. You know how Andrew Tate wouldn't trade his brother for anybody?
Yeah.
Because his brother has been in the trench with him.
Yeah.
He built his whole life with him. There are so many guys out there, kings, queens. There's so many entrepreneurs out there. You couldn't put a dollar value on replacing you. And I think that's the marriages that people need to have.
Yeah.
It's like me and you, we love each other. It's a fiery love because we've been in the trench together.
We've been in the trench. It's not surfaced.
Yeah. And why would I want surface?
Yeah.
Why would I want to marry someone who's 15 years younger than me, doesn't have the knowledge and wisdom that you have? Mm-hmm. You're the mother to my child. Mm-hmm. Me and you, we have endured life. When we're going through stuff, man, we know we got each other's back. And I think that men have messed up that you can't have that relationship with a woman. I'm like, yes, you can. It's
Yes,
the
you can.
best. And it's God's design.
You know, they said that you should choose a partner in a way that you should choose somebody to go to war with. Would you go to war with me?
I would. Actually, we do.
Every day.
Yeah. And the Bible says for a man who finds a good wife finds a good thing.
Yeah.
So why would I be on this podcast and not, because me and you are about the nucleus family. We're about marriage and we're about business.
That's it.
And I think that I would love to see our youth understand that absolutely they should find a wife, get married, have kids. And by the way, that's God's plan.
Yep.
Was life. You know what I want to say? God's plan was life.
Always, because God is life, the way,
Life.
the truth, and the life.
Yeah.
That's it.
So that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. So before we go, I'm going to throw in another ad, and we'll. It's just been amazing. Actually, this podcast was much better than I thought it would be. I'm so excited for the next to come. And if you guys have not subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe to our channel. And ladies, so life is too short. I'm going to talk to the ladies right now. Life is too short to wear boring jewelry. So as you all know, I'm always wearing my Melinda Maria jewelry, as you guys can see right now, earrings and necklace. And honestly, it's just not jewelry to me. It's just part of my daily confidence. And here's the thing. Women love jewelry, but I don't believe luxury has to be super expensive. And that's exactly why I love Melinda Maria. Every time I put on their pieces, whether it's for a date night with my husband, running a service-based business, or taking our daughter to dance practice, it just makes me feel put together, beautiful and seen. And I know so many of you can relate. You know, sometimes we put ourselves last, but something as simple as a gorgeous necklace or a pair of earrings can be a little reminder that, you know, I'm still me. And what's more, every single Melinda Maria piece comes with a lifetime warranty. So when you invest in their jewelry, you are investing something that truly lasts. And if you're a mom or a wife wearing many hats, taking care of everyone else all the time, let this be your reminder. You deserve to feel the spark again. So right now you can use code NARA. It's NARA for 10% off your order at melindamaria.com. Again, use code NARA at checkout for 10% off your purchase today.
Awesome.
Thank you.